My wife and I started a 3-day juice cleanse together. We do everything together. So anyway, when her and I started the cleanse, she laid down some basic rules. She said, because she knew from me doing the cleanse that I sometimes, and Rich came up with this phrase where he called me a juicehole. Right? You're very angry.
Because of the juice.
You get easily irritable for sure.
Right. You would too.
Yeah,
right?
I think everyone that does the juice cleanse will see it.
Because your body.
But sometimes you don't realize it as it's happening.
Right. So my wife says, listen, if we're going to do this cleanse together, let's set down some rules. She was like, so we need to make sure that we don't make any important decisions, that we don't, and that we're very cool with each other, with each other's emotions and our moods, and that we don't get mad at each other. We realize that we are in this emotional juice. It's almost like we're in marriage counseling.
Yeah, but that's very smart for her to lay that down.
Yes,
very smart.
So I'm like, okay, so with this juice cleanse, I did, and I was very open with you guys, I did a little bit of a different juice cleanse. So I did 3 days of juice, but at the end of each day, I had somewhat of a normal meal. Like I had a hamburger the first day. Not probably the way you do a juice cleanse, but I had to because my son made hamburgers and I wanted to do it. The second day, I had a sweet potato. Last night, my third day, I had my vegan meatballs, which I love. So I never really was in Juicehole mode. My son, Jake, is 16 years old, and he's so driven. He became an Eagle Scout a week and a half ago, and he's been dying to get a job. And he wants to work on cars. He loves cars. And so a friend of mine, Jim, owns this place called Pro Motorsports where they work on all these aftermarket cars, where they do and they work on all these famous people's cars, athletes and stuff. And Jim's like, bring him in. He can kind of shadow and whatever. He goes, and we'll pay him. I'm like, no, you don't have to pay him. He's like, no. So yesterday was Jake's first day on the job. And so I took Jake to show, Jake followed me there so he knew how to get there. And Jake was in heaven for 3 hours working on cars and watching guys do stuff, just learning. I mean, even going and getting tools and cleaning off tools, and he was literally in heaven. Now, all he could talk about was Hemis and stuff when he came home. So Jake came home before Blake came home. So Jake and I talked about it. And then Blake comes home. Now, she's on day 3 of the cleanse, and she has stayed true to this cleanse. So she is one bottle away from being done with this cleanse yesterday. She comes home from dropping off a dog, one of the dogs we have with a new family. She walks in the house, and Jake is sitting on the sofa chair, and I'm sitting on the sofa. She walks out, she goes, oh my gosh, that was the nicest family that we gave the dog to. They were so nice, and oh my God. And then she goes and opens the back door to let all these other dogs out, and there's dogs following around everywhere. She goes, that family was so nice. And then I go, hey, I get up and I go to the kitchen, and I go, hey, ask Jake about his first day at work. She goes, I will. She goes, don't call me out like that in front of my son. And I was like,
yep,
whoa.
We know that emotion.
I go, I wasn't calling you out. Yes, you were. I was going to ask him how his day was. And I was like, I go, okay. I'm like, all right. So I'm just quietly eating a meatball, putting a stick of meatball in the thing, eating it. Singing me ball. Then I'm like, so she said, Jake, how was your day at work? All of a sudden she literally flips like the Two-Face, like psycho. And then, hey Jake, how was your day at work? So then I'm like, I just quietly go upstairs to watch Wu-Tang Clan, right? The Wu-Tang show. And I go upstairs and whatever. And then she calls me and she says she was going to go she was taking guess what? Jake has a test tomorrow. And he didn't say anything. He's got a test tomorrow. So I'm dropping him off right now with his math tutor. Can you take the noodles out in 8 minutes? Yes, I'll take the noodles out, right? So then I look what time it is, so I don't want to screw up the noodles. 7 minutes goes by. Phone rings again. I'm like, hello? The noodles will be ready in 1 minute. I'm like, okay. So I go down, and then she calls again. And I'm like, hey, I'm taking the noodles out. And I go, am I supposed to take the broccoli off too, or is that all self-contained? She goes, I'll be home in 30 seconds. So she comes home in 30 seconds, and she comes up behind me, hugs me, and she's like, I want you to know that I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry what I said, that you called me out in front of Jake. Aww. That's the juice. I'm sorry. I was a juice hole. And I go, it's okay. We talked about it ahead of time. I just want to make sure you were aware of what was going on, that you were the juice hole today. She goes, I am so sorry. And she's hugging me from behind. And she's like, do you still love me? I go, yes. I go, everything's fine. And I was like, I put my finger on her lips. She goes, but I just want to go, shh.
She's so cute.
Shh. But now you see what it's like. And so, anyways,
even the nicest person in the world has a moment. It's true. It's just one of those things. That juice cleanse is incredible. It resets so many things, but it makes you realize how much food really affects your whole being, right? Once you don't have it around, it flips you out in every single way.
It's probably easier for her to snap into Juicehole mode when you're supposed to be doing the juice cleanse with her, and there you are stuffing your face with meatballs.
I know.